let's talk about graphs, specifically percent frequency graphs, circle graphs, and scatter plots. Because, let's be honest, the default option that Excel gives us can use a little work. Let's start with the percent frequency graph. So how do we turn this into something like this? Start by adding a title and axes labels. Then get into formatting. The first thing that you're going to do is pick a color scheme. This is what will really draw the audience's eye in, so whatever color you choose, ensure that it's not too overwhelming and doesn't make the text difficult to read. Usually, choosing a single color and then working with the varying shades of that color is effective. If you're working with more than one color, ensure that they don't clash and that they pair well together. First, change the background color. Picking a lighter shade for this works well. Then, use a darker shade for text, borders, and the bars. Adding things like a gradient to the background can also be effective, but often keeping it simple results in a clear and cohesive look. Add data labels. These can help make your graph easier to understand. Place them somewhere where they are easy to read and don't make your graph look cramped. Change the shape of your graph to ensure everything looks evenly spaced out. Center any text, ensure that it is large enough to read. Sometimes there will be a large empty space in your graph, depending on your data set. If this is the case, you can fill it with a picture that is relevant to your topic. Overall, make any final adjustments to ensure that your graph has a cohesive and professional look. Moving on to the circle graph. Again, the example that Excel gives us is not all that great, and some changes will need to be made. Similar to the frequency graph, you'll want to add a title. Add data labels as well. With a pie graph, you can be a little bit more experimental with the color, meaning that you can work with more than one shade. You want there to be a clear difference between the different sections. Choose a background color. Again, choosing a lighter shade for this tends to work well. Change the font and font size so that it is all clear and legible. Add any borders or other elements and change the size of the pie graph to a square. Ensure that the overall look is cohesive. And last but not least, how to make a scatter plot. The first thing you'll want to do is add a title and axes labels. Then, ensure that there are no large gaps in your scatter plot. If there are, adjust the X and Y axes accordingly. Make your scatter plot a square. Add a line of best fit. Format it so that it is clear and then add an end arrow. Include the equation of the line and the R value in a box. Find a space in your graph where it can fit. Then move into color. Choose a color scheme. Again, choosing a single color and working with varying shades of that color tends to be effective. Make the background a lighter shade and then choose a darker shade for the trend line, data points, and borders. Format the text. Make the title larger and center the title and axes labels. Ensure that all of the text is clear and easy to read. Move the axes labels away from the axes numbers. Round the equation of the line to 2 decimal places. Add any final touches to create an overall cohesive look.